Hello, Sisterhood. So good to see you. Well, today I'm from Germany, as you can see. I'm not in my usual setup. And when you're not in your usual setup, things can go sometimes quite crazy. So what has happened before I got here was just one thing after the other went just wrong. And then I thought, okay, you know what? This is mom's life. So I have my little one in the back. It can be that you will hear him saying sometimes something, but please don't get distracted because we have a fantastic session today. And it is the next session of the 2 Women, 1 Mission series, right? So this is what we do every Friday for October and November. And I'm so excited today because we have a wonderful, wonderful lady that has the same mission that I have, which is helping you, pregnant woman, also after postnatal, to help you to relax, to help you to prepare for motherhood, to help you to remember that you time is a very good time. You time is not a selfish time. You time is a necessity so that you can function for yourself and for your family. So this is what we're going to talk about today. We have our wonderful Bethan Thomas, who is the Hottea Mama founder. I love this brand name. It's just amazing. And I'm just going to introduce you to her. And I just really look forward to this interview. And please, if you are joining us in the live session, don't hesitate to write comments, to ask questions. This is what we're here for. If you are listening to the recording afterwards, then also please comment, because we can always reach out to the lovely Bethan and have those questions answered. So without any further ado, here we go. Here we have our lovely Bethan. Da, 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 da. Hello.
Hi.
So good to see you, Bethan. Welcome to Mom to Be Sisterhood.
Thank you. I'm very pleased to be here. It's very lovely.
Oh, it's so amazing. I mean, we have spoken before and I thought this is such a lovely lady. I have to have her on board. I have to have you here on the live session.
I was going to say, when we spoke, I remember talking a lot about your mission and like how you've been inspired by your own personal experience. And it is funny that we're very similar, even though I'm very tea focused with it. It was basically, we both went through pregnancy and motherhood and were quite shocked by a lot of it. And working towards trying to make it better second time round is good. So no, I'm really pleased to be here. Thank you.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much. I'm very, very excited. I really wanted this to happen, and I'm really glad that you have agreed to this. Let's just start knowing a little bit more about yourself and how your passion has started about tea, and going then towards working with pregnant ladies. You kind of have mentioned there a little bit of something. So
the pregnancy bit I can get to, but tea for me, I'm from a Welsh family, and I think even as a young child, like my dad doesn't really drink water, he just drinks tea. And it's a really big part of my life. But I went to university and I studied a history degree, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I was lucky enough to get a job in Shanghai with a company that I worked for in the UK in my sort of university holidays. And it was over there, I was working in marketing, but I just fell in love with Chinese tea. And I got transferred by my company from China to South Korea after 6 months. And that kind of made me just go, you know what, I want to learn to read and write Chinese, which I never had much hope of doing while I was working in an English kind of speaking office. And I ended up applying to do a master's in the UK. It was split between Oxford and Beijing. And I wrote my thesis about the Chinese tea trade. And I got a job at a Chinese tea company once I finished that, and have worked in tea ever since. I went so far as to, because I was going back and forth from China a lot with my buying, but I ended up getting a job where I could be in a place called Fuzhou, which is in Fujian. It's a very big tea producing region. I did another master's, because you can never have too many degrees, but in tea science. So it was pretty much, I knew I wanted to have kids, and I knew I probably wasn't going to have the chance to be as selfish as I had been. And I said to my partner, I want to go and do this for a year and then, come back and not go anywhere again. And he supported me in doing that, which I loved. So I studied the biochemistry of tea, agriculture and production, and sort of in-depth tea tasting. So it was an amazing course.
Wow, and then, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, you can only do it in India and China, basically, because they're the two big tea producing regions. And yeah, I just adored it. And I came back and I got a job again at a big UK tea firm. And I worked there, and then I got pregnant, and I kind of had a really horrible moment of realization where I was like, I've been blending all these caffeine-free teas, which a lot of people turn to when they get pregnant and they know they want to reduce their caffeine intake. And actually, they virtually all have licorice in them, and licorice raises your blood pressure.
Yes.
So, if you're at risk of preeclampsia or you have a history of high blood pressure, you shouldn't be drinking any licorice. And I kind of only through going through it myself realized that a lot of teas people who are pregnant with drinking weren't actually good for them. And I didn't set up Hottea Mama immediately, but my best friend Kate, kind of a year or so later, she had 2 children within the space of a year. She was pregnant a lot, and she couldn't either pregnant or breastfeeding. She couldn't, drink alcohol. She wanted to know what was safe to drink, what wasn't. And it was actually her idea. I was sort of saying about all these things I'd realized around the blends I'd been making and suggesting what she could have. And she said, why does nobody make lovely teas that are good for you, that taste great, that you can give as a gift? Because she was always wanting to give gifts to people, that small kind of gestures. And we just set up Hottea Mama from there. And yeah, again, having had children, when you get to postpartum, there are teas that can help with your kind of milk supply and breastfeeding support, as well as teas to help you stay awake that are more effective than going straight into coffee and getting kind of jittery after cutting it out for so long. And yeah, aiding sleep and things. So we set up the company to try to support women with all of the problems that we'd faced. And I did struggle when I had my daughter, first child, with the huge change that motherhood was. I didn't fully comprehend how much my life would change, and actually how much tea can support you in different ways. It's only a small thing, but it's a small thing that you can give to yourself as almost a sort of a self-care cup of tea, that if it's designed to support your body as well, plus it's making you take a moment for yourself, it made a huge difference to me. And that's what we're now all about. We just want to support women with the best teas available, that are specially designed for their needs when they need it, and that also taste nice. Because sometimes you drink stuff just because you think it'll be good for you and it's hideous.
Yeah. Yes. I remember you saying, I'm not very much of a tea drinker. I'm more of a coffee drinker.
Okay.
However, with this pregnancy, this is not the second pregnancy, I feel more tempted to have a tea. And I'm like, okay, I can't drink really a black tea. Yeah. So what tea am I going to drink? And I kind of have a selection of tea at home. I don't like the pregnancy tea very much. I tried it with my first pregnancy.
Okay.
So and when we talked, I was like, I want to make a tea now. Because you have all this passion, and the way you talk about it, and the way you have blended these different teas in different stages of pregnancy is like, oh wow, that has really attracted me to reach out to you, because it's really so important that we get the right nutrition. We know it's part of nutrition.
It is. It's a really big part of the diet. And I think that's, to me, when you say, you tried pregnancy tea, and there aren't brands who make like pregnancy teas. And to me, it's a nonsense to some degree, because it's 9 months where your physical needs change so dramatically over that time. So a pregnancy tea isn't necessarily going to help you with morning sickness, but a blend that's designed with anti-inflammatory ingredients, nothing can solve kind of HG level morning sickness, but there are ingredients that could be able to help. And again, you know, as you get towards the end of pregnancy, raspberry leaf is a fantastic thing that can help prepare your body for labor, but you can't drink that before 32 weeks of pregnancy because it can actually be dangerous before that point. So again, I was seeing all these blends that had raspberry leaf in that shouldn't be drunk, you know, too early. And yeah, I think there's a lot that tea can offer, but it does have to be kind of specific. Or I'm just obsessed with it, and that's why.
Yeah, I remember with my first pregnancy, I started to get a bit anxious about it towards the end.
Yeah.
What is going to induce labor, what isn't. And when you're around 30 weeks pregnant, you really have that in your mind. When you're towards the end, you're like, whatever helps to get this baby out.
On the sushi and anything you can. Yeah.
So you do go through this emotion. Yeah, don't you? I think every mom does.
Yeah.
You go through the emotions at the start of the pregnancy. You feel the sickness. You feel all that hormones kicking in and wondering what is happening. And then there is the feel-good trimester, the second trimester, where you're kind of settling down. You start the glow. People tell you, oh, you're glowing. And then the third trimester, you're like, okay, so now I'm kind of in a zone where, I was very worried the first time around.
I think that's really natural. And I mean, I did hypnobirthing in my pregnancies, and I found that incredibly useful for helping with my anxiety. But again, we have a blend called Night Owl, which is full of ingredients that have been shown in research to help aid anxiety and also depression. Like there've been small scale studies, but done with women suffering from postnatal depression. And certain ingredients like lavender and chamomile can have a really positive impact alongside those kind of techniques you can use to prepare yourself for birth. But I then found myself using them when my child was screaming and I didn't feel I could do anything to help them. Actually, you know, some of these techniques you can learn through your pregnancy just can help so much. And then, that 5 minutes to have a cup of tea and just relax is worth its weight in gold, really.
Yes, it goes very well with hypnobirthing. I've done hypnobirthing as well, and in my first pregnancy, and it's something you can really use throughout. And it's great to combine it actually with a nice cup of tea.
Yeah.
And I love the fact you have a tea for breastfeeding, so it's not just like during pregnancy, but you can have it after pregnancy as well to help.
Absolutely. And with our Milks Up blend, again, it's very much a personality thing. I am a preparer. Like anything I do, I want to feel prepared for. And with the breastfeeding tea, you can start that from 37 weeks and hand express colostrum.
Yes.
And it's just such a good way to feel confident and to feel prepared if you've got some colostrum in your freezer that you've harvested in advance and the tea is there to support you. And I should say as well, it's not just tea. Our tea is made up with natural galactagogues, which are kind of herbal ingredients that can support your milk supply. But you also get those with porridge. So oats are a natural galactagogue. So a cup of tea and flapjack is what I always recommend people to have if they want to do any advanced kind of colostrum harvesting, but also when you have your baby. But I think psychologically having these lovely things to support you while you're doing something that no one can fully prepare you for, and it's hard. Like it's amazing when you get it working, but it's really hard. I found anyway.
I found the same thing, and many women I spoke to, nobody really said, oh, it was like so easy. It was a dream. And then that's exactly what we want to do, isn't it? Provide as many tools as possible so that the ladies that are listening to us can remember these points when they go through a certain situation. They're like, hold on a second, I remember Bethan from Mom to Be Sisterhood. They were talking about this tea that should help me now. Let me reach out and let me ask again. This is as much as we, the minimum that we want, really. We want women to, remember us and reach out to us sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, I think there has been a really big change, I think, thanks to social media and the fact that, you can run this group and have women support each other, but just a general knowledge sharing between women. Like, motherhood can be a really lonely, I think historically, particularly, quite lonely, because you're in the house all day with your baby and you can't ask anybody anything. But thank goodness now you can. You can share your experiences and get people together. And you realize that actually something you're going through, it's hard, but other people have done it. Other people have got through it, and here are the tips and the tools that they've used to do it. For me, if I hadn't have had hypnobirthing, and I hadn't have had my tea, and I hadn't have had Instagram and social media to kind of signpost certain areas, it would have been a lot harder. So I'm very grateful.
Absolutely. And I'm thinking about, with the COVID situation at the moment, it's even harder, because at the time we were able to go in person to our classes, hypnobirthing, antenatal,
breastfeeding classes.
Yes, exactly. And meet professionals and meet other moms, mom to be, and dads as well. The antenatal class and hypnobirthing as well, the partner goes with you. So I think the need to have us is even bigger right now, because of these situations. Especially now, I'm thinking of in Mom to Be Sisterhood. I have fantastic guest speakers like you this month and next month as well, to really bring in all these tools for the pregnant ladies that they might not even know about it, because they're pregnant for the first time. And there is not a lot of time with the midwife. It might be just a quick phone call. Are you okay? So it's so important that they can reach out somewhere and have actually a also face-to-face interaction with you, with me, and within Mom to Be Sisterhood, with you in Hottea Mama. It's just like trying to fill that gap, if that makes sense.
And I think you should never be scared to ask as well, because I get a lot of sort of DMs on Instagram that they go to like a hidden inbox, because I'm not sort of friends with the person. But I always find them eventually, and I'll always answer, because I think, when you run a business as a mum and it's been inspired by motherhood, you'll never leave someone who's got a question, hanging. You always answer and help. So I think it's a wonderful thing that is happening. Although it is the hardest time to be pregnant, I feel so much for people, and as you say, dads not being able to go to scanning appointments, and that support for the woman is a huge loss. It's a real loss for the dads as well.
It is,
but you will get there, and you can get through it, and there are other positive things online that can hopefully support you in a way they wouldn't have historically, which is good.
Yes, absolutely. It's always like there's always a negative and a positive in a situation, and it's good to concentrate on the positive and be resourceful with that as well.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of amazing midwives online as well now who
sorry again?
There's lots of amazing midwives online now. So just thinking of like the modern midwife, or people who just share their experiences, and you don't even need to talk to them particularly, but being able to just read some of that information can be really reassuring sometimes.
Absolutely. Sorry, apologies. Theo, no, not open, Theo. This is a CD. We don't play with CDs. So I have emptied here a shelf to put my computer on, because I prefer to stand when I do my live shows. It just gives me more energy. And so I put all the CDs that were there on the floor, and my son is now playing with them. So I'm not sure how many will survive.
Very resourceful, but yeah, some of those CDs, don't tell your parents, just like pop them back.
Yeah, I hope they're not watching. All my brothers, because they have left behind so much like myself as well.
Yeah. Oh, they'll just be delighted that you're there. I don't think they mind.
Yeah, they will be very delighted when they try to play their favorite CD and it's not working. Well, that's all it is. Yeah, they will survive. So we have a couple of questions, which is really, really exciting. So one of them is from, Aura Pollack has said, are there teas to help with the sickness?
Yeah, so I would sort of caveat everything by saying with sickness, it's such a hard thing. No tea is a guarantee, but there absolutely are some teas you could try. So we have a blend called Morning Rescue, which is designed to support you with morning sickness. And it's basically, the logic behind the blend is every single ingredient is anti-inflammatory. So there are a couple of chemical components in some herbs that are really, really good in studies that are done in preventing sickness. The majority of studies are done with cancer patients because studies around early stage pregnancy just don't exist in general. So the ingredients that are really great are ginger. It's got an active component called gingerol, which is anti-inflammatory, and it's probably why people have already suggested you have anything gingery. But our blend's got whole ginger root in it for that reason. And then there's a citrusy component in anything that's lemony called citrals, which is similar. They anti-inflammatory, they can help ease nausea and be quite easy to drink. So we have lemongrass, lemon balm, lemon verbena in there as well. It's a lovely flavour, because what I would advise is avoid traditional tea bags where you've got kind of dust inside a paper bag, because in that form of tea bag you get a lot of tannins coming out, and tannins are really aggravating to your stomach if you're suffering from nausea. So whole leaf ingredients are much better. They'll be lower in tannin and much gentler and softer on your stomach if you're suffering from nausea. So picking those ingredients and having the whole leaf is fantastic. Lemongrass is a brilliant one, and I should say, if you Google lemongrass, a lot of places say that it's not safe for pregnancy, but actually, very excitingly, there's a study that's been done in Brazil with hundreds of women where they had lemongrass throughout their pregnancies, and not a single negative outcome was registered. So it's the most recent research. It's the only research that's done with women, and given how strong lemongrass is in citrals, it's brilliant, because it means you can actually drink it confidently without worrying. So those would be my top tips. Avoid tannin high, kind of dusty tea. And yeah, our Morning Rescue is great, but whole leaf ingredients are good as well, because they'll be gentler. And just avoid caffeine. I know you will be anyway, but caffeine again is quite aggravating on your stomach and can make nausea worse. And I think I remember, Shirley, you saying that you'd gone off caffeine.
Yes, I went off coffee. Yes,
that's a natural response from our body because caffeine isn't good for you, but it's partly why we can also become nauseous with it when drinking it. I got that very badly, which was really awkward when I was a tea taster and having to taste tea every day. Everyone knew I was pregnant before I told them. But yeah, just avoid caffeine. So yeah, I was going to say we have.
It's amazing how the body. Sorry.
Oh no, well, it just popped into my head. But another blend we have called Get Up and Glow isn't designed to be anti-nausea, but it's a very smooth fruit tea. It uses grapes as the base. So it's got a small amount of kind of natural sugars in there to give you a lift in place of caffeine. But that's one that a lot of women write to me and say, actually, that was the only thing they could drink if they had bad nausea. So it's another one that's worth trying.
That's awesome.
Little Theo,
Okay. way.
You're going to have more work after this interview than we're going to
What a session. What a session. Well, mom to be, this is what it is.
Yeah,
when you
prepare
become
yourself.
a mommy. Yeah, exactly. Prepare yourselves. I don't know if you hear him in the background with the
Or just a
earplugs,
little bit.
like,
But yeah.
mommy, open this. And I'm like, go away. Or
You're
stroke
doing
his head.
very well.
Like, calm.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. So yeah, I was just gonna say that it's amazing how the body reacts, in the sense of the body knows what it needs and what it doesn't want. What it just
absolutely.
like, I can't do with coffee. I know surely you like it, but don't have it. And yeah, I mean, I don't mind the smell of it, which is great.
Yeah.
Because with my first pregnancy, there were some foods, some drinks that, just the smell would make me feel really, really bad. So at least I'm not in that at that point.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah.
So yeah, we have another question from Ora Pollack, who says, any tea for grandmothers?
So, well, based on my mum.
Well, yeah, wonderful.
My major counterpart. So, yeah, we do. There's one blend in our range called Night Owl, which I mentioned, which is the great tea for easing anxiety. And it's also designed to help aid sleep. Because again, those ingredients, they're natural muscle relaxants. So they can really help you get a good night's sleep if you're suffering from kind of pregnancy insomnia. But my mum absolutely loves it. And I know a lot of other women will say that they get it for their mum because it's very calming, soothing. And again, in this very strange time we're living in, I think some grandmothers do suffer from a lot of anxiety because they're worried about their families and they can't necessarily be with their children. So that's a great one. And we've just launched, depends on the age of the grandmother, but a menopause blend as well. So a tea, again, because it's another thing women go through that tea can naturally support you with. Alongside other treatments. So yeah, we have Take a Pause, which is great if you know anyone suffering from perimenopause or menopause. So all the ingredients are designed just to help with anxiety. It's got valerian in it for that, and ginseng. And then also cognitive functions. It's got ginkgo biloba, which is very good for that. Raspberry leaf, which is great for helping heavy kind of flow, which affects women in menopause, and also for hot flushes. The ginkgo biloba is very good, and we do recommend having it iced. So yeah, that, depending on how old the grandmother is, might be useful.
That's so lovely. I just love what you do. It's so amazing. You've really covered it. And I spontaneously am thinking now, do you have anything for women that are trying to get pregnant?
So it's the one area I'm working on, a blend for PMT to help with kind of, monthly issues, menstruation. But with fertility, there's unfortunately just not enough evidence or enough studies done that convince me that there is a tea that can support enough. So there are, raspberry leaf is an example that we have in our final push blend to help prepare women for labour, because it's been linked in studies to a shorter second stage of labour and fewer interventions in birth. And it basically strengthens your uterus. So it makes, when you're pregnant, it makes your uterus contract a little bit, and hence not having it till the late stages. But then you get stronger uterine muscles, which will improve your labour. Some people have used it for an extremely long time, millennia really, to help with fertility. So it's often known as the women's herb, and it can help regulate ovulation. And there are a few studies showing that it does help regulate periods. But there's nothing that really shows any increase in fertility rates. And I know it's such a difficult topic. My best friend had very bad fertility problems. And I'm just not comfortable selling something to someone in that situation if I'm not confident it's going to help. So I would say the one thing you should do with fertility is reduce your caffeine intake. That's the one area where there is research that shows women who drink less than 200 milligrams of caffeine per day, who are having fertility issues, they're much more likely to get pregnant than women who drink more caffeine than that. So definitely cutting out caffeine, replacing it with herbal teas. And, you know, you can use the night owl again to help with stress or anxiety, but there isn't a kind of miracle herb on the fertility front. You can buy fertility teas from other people, but I just can't bring myself to sell one.
That is fair enough. You know, you have to stand behind your products. So, you know, I prefer someone like you that is really open and honest and says, look, you know, this is the situation, and I just don't feel like it, rather than you trying to sell me something. So, you know, it shows again how authentic and how passionate you truly are to help women. You know, you're doing what you believe is the right thing, is going to help the women, and this is what we want, what we need. You know, true talk.
I think it's just hard if you've been through something. So, you know, I'm yet to hit kind of perimenopause, but I have friends who are going through it, and we actually tested the Take a Pause blend with 20 women at the beginning of this year and got really positive feedback. So again, I'm like, okay, I'm willing to sell this to my friend because I think it will help them. And with the pregnancy and breastfeeding teas, we did a very similar thing. I was pregnant at the time, so it kind of worked. But yeah, on fertility, I think having seen how incredibly difficult it is, until there's more research, I won't do anything. I just couldn't bring myself to do it.
That's absolutely fine. But I had to ask the question because women are reaching out to me asking, you know, what they can do, and they're trying to get pregnant. And I was like, you know what, I've got to ask you this question now to see what there is, what you can offer.
And I'm glad you did, because like I say, reducing your caffeine, looking at stress. And to be honest, tea is, you know, the fruit and herbal teas, they're all so much healthier than if you were to have, you know, a soft drink or an energy drink or something with sugar in. So as part of a holistic diet, reducing your caffeine and drinking a mix of kind of fruit and herbal teas, I think will inevitably be a good thing to do. I just wouldn't pay any exorbitant prices for something that promises, you know, to do something, because it's unlikely to really do it.
Yeah, I understand. So we have one last question. My daughters-in-law are both pregnant on their second half. Which tea do you recommend?
So in the second half of their pregnancy?
Of their pregnancy, yes.
Yeah, so from 32 weeks, they can have the final push tea, which is a raspberry leaf blend. I'd really recommend that because it does have those great outcomes in the research that's been done. So it can hopefully help them with a shorter second stage of labour where they're having to push, which is worth its weight in gold, and fewer interventions in birth. We also blend it with peppermint. So particularly as you get bigger and more fuller of baby, it can be very hard to digest, you know, meals, and the final push can really help with that as well, which is great. If they're suffering from any pregnancy insomnia, night owl is fantastic. But I think the Get Up and Glow is a brilliant option if they're missing caffeine as well, as just an alternative to caffeine that can give you a real boost. And particularly as it gets darker and wetter in Britain, it's got kind of grapes as the base and then tropical fruit. So the flavors are really uplifting, and can just give you a bit of a boost if you're, I don't know how old, if they have other children, but if you're busy with work or kids, you know, you do need something to give you a little lift every now and again.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know this. Here is like performing an example of this.
I have started now, so far in my pregnancy, I'm now like 23 weeks pregnant. Well, I just reached the 23. That's why I had to kind of think. So, and the time is just flying by. So I started now having cravings or feeling like I need to eat more, although I feel full.
Okay.
Is there something that you have?
to make you feel
Okay, I'm
full.
satisfied now. I don't want to eat anymore.
So not specifically, I'm afraid, but I do think that the Get Up and Glow, if you brew it nice and strongly, so I'd recommend kind of leaving the tea bag in almost while you drink it and just let it get stronger. It's got a very small amount of sugar in it. Legally, there's no like declaration on it because it's that low, but that sweet flavor, and it's got a slight sharpness to it because it's got rosehip and hibiscus as well. But it can be quite a good alternative to kind of feeling a bit peckish and wanting to eat something that you maybe don't need to.
Yes.
But yeah, I think it can be a really good kind of sweet fix without having to have sort of a biscuit. But at the same time, you're 23 weeks pregnant and you have a small child, like, I think you can not beat yourself up too much about it. You look great.
Well,
so
I'm being told differently, so I'm thinking, let me find something else. But I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean. You know, it's
hard.
already,
There's a line, isn't there? But
yeah, but then especially I'm in Germany, and I just want to eat all the things that I don't find in London.
Yeah, all those like home comforts.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like Christmas, you know, you have that food once a year and it's like you gotta like fill yourself up. I mean, I'm not quite there yet, but
yeah, what are the like soft German biscuits that you get at Christmas? I've no idea what they're called.
Oh, they are great with Christmas biscuits. Soft. Oh, soft.
But they're just like, oh yeah, I can't think what they're called, but like almondy, kind of soft, gingery, spiced.
Oh yes.
I'm going back 5 years, but my German teacher used to bring them in at Christmas. We love them.
Okay. I will have a look around. Let's see if I find them and I send them over to you. So with almonds, okay. It's actually, yeah, we are in October, but yeah, they are selling a few things that are already like Christmas products. So I will keep my eyes open. I'm gonna go shopping tomorrow. No problem whatsoever, Bethan. I can't believe we have said earlier like 20 to 30 minutes. We are almost at 40 minutes. I cannot believe that. It's been just such an amazing session. I'm so pleased. It was just awesome.
Oh, thanks for having me, Shirley. It's been brilliant. And well done for managing Theo. I forced my partner to go and look after my kids in the other room. Incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the disaster that I will find when I turn around in a minute. But this is what I'm going to live with. Yeah. I'm just going to walk out without looking anywhere. Probably the best thing to do.
Yeah.
Oh, Bethan, it's such a pleasure. Thank you so very much for giving us so useful information. And yeah, there is a freebie that you have provided us. I did have a little bit of problems with my computer, so I didn't upload it. But just PM us, and we can send it through. Let us know. It's a fantastic information leaflet. So please reach out. And yeah, thank you so very much. I love the name Hottea Mama.
Thanks.
It's perfect. All right, wonderful. So yeah, thanks again. You take very good care of yourself, and I'm going to talk to you soon. I'm very sure about that.
Definitely. Thank you for having me. Have a good weekend.
No problem at all. Thank you. You too. Have a great weekend. Bye. All right, guys. So was this not an amazing session? I mean, I love Bethan, the way she has gone into depth about the tea that she offers, and she has really thought it through how to help us pregnant women through the process of being pregnant and then postnatal as well. Is that not amazing? It's just so great. I mean, I just loved it, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. Next week, we're going to come with another guest speaker. It is going to be Medi, a personal trainer, my personal trainer. She's an awesome woman who has helped me after Theo's birth to kind of get back to my physical wellness, physical wellness, yes, and lose a little bit of weight as well. If I didn't lose as much, it was all my fault because I like to eat too much. But anyways, let's leave that aside. She is an amazing woman, and she has helped me also now through the first stage of pregnancy. And obviously now I'm in Germany for a little while. And next week I'm going to be in London again with Maddie. So don't miss out on our next session, which is again with another woman, because it's always 2 women, 1 mission. We share together the desire, the mission to help pregnant women throughout the process of pregnancy and postnatal. We need this support. And here at Mom to Be Sisterhood, I want you to find everything in one place. And that's why I am bringing them all here for you to reach out to them and get the information, the tools, the help that you need. You just need to speak up. Wonderful. So thank you again very, very much. I will say goodbye from Germany, and take care of yourself and keep safe. And that's all from me. Bye-bye. Lots of love.